Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are around the world. This is the first episode of How to App on iOS with me, Jade Starr. I hope you can hang around for the next 20 minutes as we delve into something quite fun, hopefully for everybody. Good morning. Oh, I have some, what have I got going on there? I think I've got my... I think I had my iPhone running in the background there. So, basically what we are doing today, as I bring up my main chat for the day, we are going to, in 20 minutes, hopefully, put together a death metal album cover from scratch using one solitary app from the App Store. And to get everybody into the mood, I've created a song around this band. I've just made this song, so it has no band name as yet. We're just going to make it up now, and this is what I created. I'll crank it up for a second. We're going to leave that going in the background. So, who am I? My name is Jade Starr. I'm a musician, I'm transgender, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I create all my music on iOS. So that's what this is all about. I'm an avid collector of apps, and I thought it would be a really good idea to start showing some people my vast collection of apps and how to use them to their fullest potential. And what we are starting with today for the first app is an app called Over. And it's a photo video editing app on iOS. And before I bring it up on my screen, let's have a look at the chat. Thank you to everybody who's here so far. I can see Christy, Cold Acre, and Scott. So, and Tom, g'day. Thank you all for joining me on this. I'm pretty nervous. This is the first time I've done this. So hopefully my voice is coming through okay, and the music's nice and low in the background there. Okay, so I've decided to call this band that I'm making an album for today Severed. It's a very generic death metal doom name, whatever you want to call it. But we're going to build an album cover around that name and this music that's playing in the background. So just before I get into opening the app, as you can see, I am a Virgo, and I have my iPad Pro set up very anally. So over the next few coming weeks, hopefully I'm going to do this every day. I'm going to be going through as many apps as I possibly can. I have a lot of apps, vocal effects stuff, drumming apps, guitar effects apps, MIDI and synthesizer apps. As you can see, there's doors down here too, like Auria, GarageBand, Music Studio. And I'm going to be delving into all of these apps. Another page here full of audio editing apps and such. So let's start off with where you can get this app that I'm about to go into. This is called Over. It's free to download, just so you know, and it's quite powerful just as a free app. But to really kick it into the full potential, it's got a subscription. Now, I've had a subscription to this app for 3 years, and it's so worth it. Like Australian, I think it works out to be about $14.99 a month. But what you get for that is amazing. So let's get into the app now without further ado. This is Over. Now, on the opening splash screen, you get this Discover page. And I'm not going to really delve into this too much, but basically it's a lot of help stuff, a lot of tips, support, templates, ideas, and it's all around building, images for Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, banners. There's so much here, it's ridiculous. And the templates are on the next page. Right along the top here, you got templates for Facebook covers, business cards, wallpapers, YouTube banners, Pinterest, I mean, you name it, Instagram stories, it's all there. If you pay for a subscription, you're also like hooked into this pretty cool feature here called Teams, where you can collaborate live with other people who have an account and in real time add things to your project. And then you have a projects page, and as you can see here, this is my projects page. It is just, I do everything in this app. It is so full of stuff. The movie I've been producing, all my album covers, just quickly, Brian Bigler's album. I did, oh, that's not popping up for some reason. Let's see, my last Utensils album, that's not popping up for some reason as well. Good start. Anyway, let's get down to it. I'm going to explain some of the features that you get once you pay for the subscription as I'm making this album cover. So, this band is going to be called Severed. We are going to start with a transparent square image. As you can see here, when you create a new image, you get the option to start with an image, a video, a transparent, or just a colored background. I'm going with a transparent. Let's make this screen a little bit bigger so people can see. Okay, now along the bottom here, you have all these pre-made, predetermined templates, and they're for things like Twitter banners, YouTube banners, Facebook, Google, I mean, you name it, they're all in here. Instagram. You can flick through and pick one. Once you pick one, you can change the size yourself to whatever size you want. I'm going to go with this 2048 by 2048 album cover square. And here's my basic template that I'm going to be building an album cover from. So we've got to start with a band name. So as I've said, it's called, excuse my vape. The band's going to be called Severed. And first you want to hit the little text button down here, second from the left, and we're going to Severed. So already you can see it's one of my imported fonts has come up straight away. I could use that immediately. What's so fantastic about this app is you can import thousands of fonts from their library. If you pay the subscription, you can actually import fonts as well. And these are some of the fonts I've already imported. You can just go to free font sites, download them in a zip file, and just insert them from there. It's really easy to do. So there's my logo for now. Let's make this a bit bigger. And I'm just pinching here to get this a bit bigger. Let's center that. Right. Now I'm going to want to try and pick a font for it. And along the bottom here are all my fonts. And I can just scroll through them till I find something that's metal, because we're doing a whole metal thing today. And I've got a whole bunch back here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Some barbed wire, evil death metal stuff. Got lots of dripping blood kind of things. I'm going to pick this one first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 or maybe 3 of these. So I'm going to pick this one. And along the top here you have layers like Photoshop, basically. And they're so easy to use. So I have my background down the bottom, and I have that logo that I've just picked. Now I'm just going to hold down on it and duplicate that logo, and then move it a little bit to give it a bit of a death metal unreadable kind of font. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it again, and I'm going to choose a different font for this one. And we're going to try and match it up with the squigglier stuff. Let's see what I can find. We just went past one. Okay, and that is going to do for now. Make that a bit smaller. Now that looks like a black metal title right there. Bring that more up into the middle. Now on one of the layers, I'm going to change the color of it to red. And you can add palettes. You've got your colors along the bottom here. You can actually add colors to your palette by selecting this little arrow to the left and create a palette of colors. So let's make that red. Move it around a little bit. So it looks stupid right now, let's just say. But now we're going to bring in a background. What I'm going to do, you get a couple of options here to use from Pixabay and Unsplash, because you've paid for a subscription to bring in artwork that's free to use. So I'm going to type something in here and find something really dark and dingy, like maybe a dungeon. That's what I can find here. Okay. As you can see, there is a absolute pile of stuff that just comes up from there. How about we go... I'm just going to choose this one. Make that larger. I'm going to now open the layers again, and this time I'm going to drag this down to the back, right down to the bottom. So now the text is sitting over the top of this picture. Now this picture is way too bright to be something evil in my view. So along the bottom here you have a whole bunch of tools. You've got some filters, pre-made filters. You've got a whole bunch of things to adjust, like the contrast, saturation, the warmth. There's a whole lot of features in there. You can crop the image. You can change the size here as well, just by scrolling back and forward. Everything's really easy to use. You've got shadowing for your text and such. Opacity to make it disappear. You can rotate things around. You can blur images. I'm just going across the bottom here. You can tint, color tint. You can, instead of moving with your fingers, you can nudge photos up with an up and down, left and right. And you have a masking system as well. Plus you can blend these photos. You can blend photos into other photos. Okay, so what we're going to do for this, because we want to make it dark, we want to make it look a bit evil. Turn up the saturation a bit. Okay. So that's going to do for now. I'm just going to leave that like that. Now, I want to include some severed limbs onto this. I want to put on the floor here a whole bunch of severed limbs into a pile. And I want them to all be different, like a severed head, severed hands, severed legs, whatever I can find. What's amazing about this app is when you click image to add another image, you scroll across the top here to Google, and you get a Google search engine. And what this search engine provides you with is the ability to find PNGs with transparent backgrounds. And you can start piling these things up. So I'm just going to write severed leg. Let's see what comes up. Wow. Look at that. That is just cool as. So we've got a couple of severed legs, a severed foot. We've got a severed hand in there as well. A whole bunch of hands and feet. So I can take a whole bunch of things from this. I want to make a pile of limbs. Let's see, I'm going to take this leg here. And there it is. I'm going to shrink that down. I'm just going to lay that there on the floor, and instead of grabbing another one of those, I'm just going to go back to my layers and duplicate that. Then I'm going to hit rotate. I'm going to spin this one around. Maybe like that. Might even flip it. There we go, just like that. Now I'm going to go back to my images again. Unfortunately, you have to type it in every time. Let's type severed limb this time. See if we get anything else up here. And you can tell if it's a PNG with a transparent background by the little squares behind. So we've got a couple of arms here. Yes, there's a hand. Here's a hand. Let's take this hand. Just going to throw that there. I want a severed head. Holy moly, look at this one up the top. So I'm going to take that one at the top that looks pretty creepy. And it's not a very good one, but we're going to hide that. And what I'm going to do also is I'm going to add a filter to it to try and match the color a bit more. Let's do that. Here we go, it's a little bit better matched. Okay, so let's find a severed another severed leg. And as you can see, you can just continue to build this stuff up until I end up with a pile of limbs. There's a foot. Let's take a foot. We can move all these around later as well. How we're going for time. Okay, so God, we have these two hands here. Those ones look cool. Wow, those ones look really cool. Let's take these. Okay. Now, I'm only going to grab a couple of more things just to give you an idea of what's happening. Let's do one more severed limb. Let's see what we find. If you vary up what you're looking for, sometimes you'll get a whole bunch of different things. Like I've got two arms here. Let's just take these two arms. Stick them across the top, make them a little bit bigger. Now you can go back and make everything a bit more relative. Like I'll bring this hand down. Leave that sticking out. Gonna make these legs a little bit smaller as well. Okay, now clearly we're going to need some blood. Okay, clearly going to need some blood under there. So what I'm going to do is do a search once again for a pool blood. Let's see what we get. We've got some splatters. Okay, this one looks okay. I'm actually going to take this one here. Now I'm going to move it down the bottom of the list in my layers, all the way down to the bottom. Position that. That is truly demented. Oh dear. Okay, so time is it? We've got about 5 more minutes. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to take out this background. I'm going to just bring back up the background. I'm going to lose the opacity so I can play around a little bit with these logos up here, because I want to give them some shadowing. So this is the red one I'm using right now, and I'm just going to hit shadow down the bottom here, turn it on. Because it's red, I'm going to give it a black shadow. As you can see, it's just appeared there. Now I can move the angle of it with these arrows down the bottom. Just to give it a bit more thickness. I can change the opacity. I've just had breakfast, so I'm good. Okay, now I'm going to bring up the other one, and we're going to give this one a dark red. Turn up the opacity. Now that truly is a heavy metal logo that you can't read whatsoever, and that is perfect. Now we're going to bring back this background. And the album needs a title, so I'm going to call it Pile of Limbs, I guess. That sounds like a good name for now. And we're going to choose an equally scary metal background. That looks really good, actually. Something that you can actually read. And we want to give this some shadowing as well. We can add Donald Trump's head to it if you want. Would you like to do that? I think we should. I think it's only just with all the stuff that's going on in the world at the moment. I think he actually deserves it. Why don't we put Donald Trump's head on the very top? Let's do that. Let's see if we can find... Let's see the power of this. Donald Trump head. Thanks for the suggestion in the text. Oh my god, look at that. This is how cool this app is. The perfect one has appeared right at the top. I think that's... It's like the cherry on the cake. What do you think? Yeah? Cherry on the cake? He's not orange enough. Goodness me. Oh dear. There we go. We'll adjust it a little bit, give him some contrast. He needs a little bit of contrast and some saturation. The dude's absolutely saturated with bronzer. So bizarre. Okay. So there it is. There is, within 20 minutes, just a quick demonstration of how powerful this app is. Now, I haven't touched on so many of the things that this app can do. I'm just trying to give people a very quick insight to the power of apps that you may not even know exist. I know a lot of people use Canva to make their album covers. I've used it myself, but I think it is quite limited. With this thing, just gives you so much power. It's unbelievable. So from here, I mean, you can add shapes to this and move them around. You can do so many things. So I'll just get rid of that. And as you can see, it's virtually the power of Photoshop, just in a very simple to use app. You can import video, but I'm not going to go into that because it's I know most people who do see this video, hopefully you'll try the free version and see how it goes for you. And then when you want to save it, the top right hand corner, you just click that little arrow and you get a whole bunch of options. You can export as a PNG, a PDF, a JPEG. I normally do as a PNG. And you can save it to your Photos app, or you can hit more here and save it to something like Open In. Or I would normally save it to something like Documents. Or I can save it as a really high quality PNG, and there it is. There's my album cover in 20 minutes with Donald Trump's head as the cherry on top. Okay, so that's it for today. My music stopped. When the music stops, it's time for me to go. And I'll wrap up just by saying I should be doing a show once a day. Tomorrow I'm hoping to do an overview of, well, not an overview, but what I'm going to do is take Pete John's latest EP that he's just about to release today, and it should he should be doing a show tomorrow, a watch party over on his channel. And I'm going to take his new EP and I'm going to master it here on iOS using Grand Finale, and I'm going to get a different version of his album. I'm going to master it in 20 minutes, the entire EP, live on this channel. So that's Thursday here in Australia, and then Friday's show I'll be doing an interview with Pete Johns about his new EP, and over the weekend there'll be a few more surprises. So thank you everybody for joining me. I hope it hasn't been too painful, hasn't gone too long, and you've got a little bit of an insight of what I think is a really powerful app that I've been using for, as I said, 3 years. And I will leave it here for today. I thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you the same time tomorrow. And going forward, hopefully, every day. So thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.